Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dim Lights Horror, the podcast that tells classic and modern stories from around the world for you to hear. Now, please take a seat, dim your lights, and join me in today's story by YouTube user Blake Blizzard. Cryptic Woods. An ordinary day. That's what it started out as. One day in the sea of thousands. I cannot recall the events that led up to staring down that gate. I feel like my day consists of the normal things I'll handle on a leave day. Starting with a light run, maybe some weightlifting in the afternoon, and then chores, followed by a nicely made dinner and a cheap bottle of wine. Okay, fine, a cheap box of wine. It just hits different after a long, productive day. But like I said, I can't articulate if I did any of those things. It's like I was in a coma, or frozen. One moment I was leaving work, the next, I was staring at the gate. My mood was light. I didn't feel any pain or fear. At the time, I wasn't worried that I snapped back into my consciousness behind the wheel of my vehicle. I remember noticing a gleaming light out of the side of my eye, slightly adjusting my gaze to my left. I saw it. A path I've never seen before. The gate guard in the pathway isn't something that would stop a vehicle, even if it was closed. I mean, you would damage your car or truck going through, but it's not a wall or anything. I'll describe it as two slim, long triangles that meet in the middle where the chain can bound them both. There also is a small red sign on one of the triangles, the side facing me, as if it was open. I can't say I've ever seen this before. Maybe it's always been shut and therefore it denied the possibility of traveling in that direction. Decision time. Should I go to the right, to the world I know? Or do I take the left, to the unknown? The possibilities were endless to the left. The right was what was comfortably familiar. Sometimes being comfy isn't all it's meant to be. Let's see what's down this path. Immediate disaster. The snow on the ground concealed what must have been some nasty frozen water. I wasn't going fast, but the vehicle I was piloting started to slide. Going through the snow is not an issue for this model I'm driving. A Jeep Cherokee, that's the highest trail rated version. As we all know, it doesn't matter if you're driving a 4x4 or 120x120. Ice is the ultimate equalizer. One of the gate's metal arms was pointed right at me, threatening to pierce my windshield and impale me, or at very least, destroy this lease vehicle in some form. Anyone my age can picture a Final Destination scene. I furiously pumped the brake, making sure not to slam the pedal all the way down. But by the grace of the Lord, I stopped just inches away from certain disaster. Collecting my breath and lowering my heart rate, I slowly reversed and considered doing a full retreat. Not today. I employed a more cautious entry and broke the plane of the path. What started as an immediate disaster quickly became immediate beauty. The scene in front of me opened my mind, heart, and eyes. I was in another world. Before I entered the path, I saw what looked like an ordinary, less than densely populated forest. It hadn't changed entirely, but now that I was inside, I could see intensely that these woods were amazingly unique. The ground was like green carpet, more like an astroturf. The green was impossibly green. The trees reached so high I could not see the tops. Awestruck is all I can say. The former dreary gray sky was blue and bright. Sunlight made its way down to the ground floor, illuminating the turf. A slight fog covered me in my vehicle, but in a magnificent, welcoming way. I walked the path. No pain, no sadness. It was so beautiful, I forgot I entered my vehicle. Sublime indeed. I was so focused on so many stunning visuals, I did not realize that there was no sound. It was like a scene in a war movie when a bomb or grenade goes off. I didn't hear the ringing sound, what clues the viewer in that the character you're watching loses hearing. I went straight to complete silence. I could hear my heart pounding. Not fast, not slow, just the sound of the vital organ doing its job. I could hear the blood circulating through my body. Creatures started to peek out behind the massive tree trunks. I think my vision was blurring. I couldn't make out what they were. Little shadow-like beings with big white eyes coming out to take a glimpse at this intruder to their world. Either I was truly going blind, or that's what they actually looked like. I'd describe them as ghosts from Pac-Man, but all black. They were not there to harm me. I could feel that. As quick as they appeared, they made their collective retreat. For some reason, I felt that was a good sign. The sign that it was okay for me to be in here, in their woods. It wasn't welcome necessarily, but I was granted passage. Keeping the path, never veering, I perceived a small gray square planted in the ground. Maybe 100 yards dead ahead of me. I stood in the middle of the path, begging me to make another choice. Confront me, or leave the unknown safety of the path. My vision had returned to its natural state, immediately clearing when the Pac-Man ghosts evaporated. I could see that what laid ahead of me was indeed a gravestone. The stone was impossibly smooth. It was waist high. I wish I knew what it said, as it could lead some kind of context as to where I was, or what was waiting for me. Only 5 characters were etched into the center of it. I don't know what it said, because I didn't recognize what language it was. It must have been symbols. runes or characters from a time that is now dead. One yellow tulip protruded from behind it. Intriguing that it was not planted in the front or laid on the ground in remembrance, as most flowers would be at a normal grave. I already had to make several strange choices on this prompt journey. I felt like this was no different. Take the flower or leave it. What could possibly be the benefit of ripping out this delicate beauty from the earth? Do I need this in my quest? Something told me to let it be. As my mind concluded, the path shifted. This time, I did not hesitate. I followed the path around the gravestone. The feeling of dread was strong near the stone, but dissipated when I distanced myself. I felt like the right decision was made. Only time will tell. For now, I'm trying to get back to my Jeep. The warmth, the smooth ride, the glorious Sirius XM satellite radio. I'll find it. I just need time. I just need to find the path. I veered off because I needed to, right? I made the right decision. So many decisions. Thank you all for listening. If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe and leave a comment. I value your feedback. And if you're listening on Spotify, click the follow button to hear more stories from Dim Lights Horror. And be sure to take a look at my Facebook and Instagram. Just look up Dim Lights Horror in the search bar. Good night, everybody.